Welcome to the Chicago Golf Report podcast.
I opened Mike's Golf Center 2 years ago, and I describe it like a country club without all the crazy rules. So I moved out here after I finished up college, and originally being from Indiana, it's not the best place to go for golf. In the area that I was at, and the Chicago suburbs are just incredible in the golf space, as you know. So I moved out this way and kind of just fell in love with the St. Charles community.
So then you're a young guy. When did you know that golf was something that you wanted to have in your life and be part of your career? Because that's a big step in it. And I think that takes a certain degree of confidence to be able to take that step.
Oh, definitely. So I kind of had, I guess you could say, a typical path. I grew up playing competitive golf, and I was competitive in Indiana and ended up going to Methodist University to join the PGM program. So I graduated there with my professional golf management degree, and I really started to fall in love with it in middle school. I played since I was 7, but middle school I really started to get that drive and narrowing down, hey, what am I interested in? What's going to stick with me long term? I was also a big baseball player, so that was a big decision, choosing between golf and baseball. And just the individual aspect of golf really attracted me. I was like, hey, I can work as hard as I want at this and take it as far as I want. And finally, when I got to Methodist, I went there to visit on a golf visit, and they suggested that I join PGM, and I'd never even really considered going into the golf industry. I just thought I would play it forever. So that kind of sparked my interest. And then throughout college, I got way more into, the mechanics of the swing, and hey, why is my game up and down at different times? And, I'm just always on the search to figure out why golfers do what we do.
So one of the, I guess, big decision points that I've heard that golfers, good golfers go through who are able to play at a collegiate level or further is when they have to decide, are they going to continue to play, or they find that maybe they're going down a different path, could be going into instruction or perhaps even leaving. At what point did you decide that, maybe the playing part isn't for me, I want to go to instruction or even start my own business?
Yeah, I kind of got pushed there. I had really bad tendonitis all throughout high school, and I basically lived at the golf course. So 4 or 5 hours a day, I'm out there whacking the ground. And my sophomore year of college really started to get bad, and then towards the start of the season, I was pretty sick at one point too. So it kind of gave me a step back to reassess and just say, hey, why do I play this game? Well, I play it because I love it. And right now it's more of a hassle to go out and practice, and I'm not feeling great. And, that's really where I made the switch. I had some downtime, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go travel up and down the East Coast and just learn from the best teachers to help my own game, but also, help my teammates. I was living down on the range, still attending practice, and wanted to be a benefit. So that's really where my passion sparked, from meeting other coaches and, getting out just to see what teachers do. I think generally the PGA path is very, head professional, GM. I apologize.
No worries.
Sorry, I don't know if this is edited, but I can't figure it out. To adjust my phone here. There we go. Where were we? Yeah.
So you were going down the East Coast, up and down the East Coast, kind of trying to find your footing where you're at.
Yeah. And, throughout different internships and whatnot, really just got exposed to, different areas of the business. And teaching is something that, again, I can control how many students I'm working with. what type of students I'm working with, and it's really fun to just spread my love of the game through, no longer playing, but now teaching other people that passion. So.
And what brought you to the St. Charles area? What was the trigger for that?
I had a few friends that lived out this way, and I'd been out here to visit before, and it's just a really nice city in general. The downtown scene is amazing, and I've always loved suburb over city, so kind of like being out in the open and having some land, and so I actually bought a house out here and kind of stuck my roots. So.
No, you got a really nice place in terms of the space that you have at your facility. You have 4 simulators that you have?
So we actually just updated. We had 8, and now we're up to 12. So we have 12 Unicor simulators, and we actually have 2 pitching greens. So one of them is netted in where we can hit, longer 50-foot pitching shots. And they're also on slope too. So a lot of those, practice hurdles from coming indoors and trying to make it realistic, like being outdoors. Now we have the technology where we can say, hey, you can practice all these different types of shots, or you can come hit on the simulator and have a good time with your friends. So we get people of every background, from the people who want to come in and grind every day to people who just want to come in and play around with their buddies. So
let's talk a little bit about Unicor. Unicor is a pretty well-known brand, and this is obviously a really big decision if you're going to open your own simulator business. What pushed you towards choosing Unicor?
Absolutely. Yeah. When I was going over, all the different options, having something that was overhead was a big benefit for me. Being that we're open 24/7 for our membership, obviously a bit of a liability there if you have, people in there unattended, and, things can happen. So having the simulator locked in place is amazing. Also the depth of the software that we can connect to Unicor. I know some of the other systems out there are more proprietary in that sense. So we use the golf club, and we get pretty much any course you could ever imagine, from Augusta National down to local courses as well. So, and then the quality just of the unit itself. I mean, in my eyes, Unicor's top 2 or 3 on the market, and they're comparable to any other indoor unit you want. So we have people that are on mini tours in here down to the average golfer, and everybody has been very pleased with Unicor and their technology. And they're such a new company too. They keep updating their customer service, and they keep coming out with new products and software updates. So I'm excited to see what they have coming in the future.
So you mentioned your members. Can you talk a little bit about people who want to rent simulator time versus the option for becoming a member?
Yeah. My big thing in golf is I want to kind of change the mold a little bit. I always have felt like golf is, for lack of better terms, very stuffy. And I want people to be able to play the game for their own reasons. So, I'm the guy who would really take advantage of a membership. We have a 24/7 option where you can come any time of the day, or we also have some morning memberships for, more retirees and things like that. That's really for the grinder who's going to come in and practice daily and just kind of be around and hang out with all the other members. I also wanted to have the option, though, to just have people in off the street to try it out. So, I didn't like the idea of going full private, because that kind of shuts people out, and that's really goes against the grain of what I'm trying to do here. So, we offer different public leagues and different clinics to the community, and we're really trying to get more involved in, just growing golf as a whole, not just with the better players who are practicing all the time. So
from your perspective, if you put on your instructor hat, I've talked to some pretty prominent golf instructors in the area recently about the issue of the benefits of teaching indoors versus outdoors. And the feedback that I've received from the instructors is that they actually get more done indoors. It's obviously more consistency. You have the data is right there, as far as spin rate and the path and everything like that. They said the thing that you don't have, obviously, is the conditions and perhaps hitting off of different lies and things like that. But given their druthers, they prefer indoors. What else about teaching indoors do you think is beneficial for not only instructor, but for the golfer?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head there. Definitely just having all the data points where, we get 27 different data points on our simulators, and half of the members, I'm like, you guys do not even need to worry about those numbers. But, even just distance alone, being able to go through and do a club gapping where you're figuring out, I think historically a lot of golfers, if I'm hitting to a green, I'm going off of, oh, well, that's my potential distance. I could hit it that far. But if I actually hop on a simulator for an hour and hit 57 irons, what's my actual average? I might catch one good and hit it 170, but more of the time I'm 10, 15 yards shorter than that. So I love that aspect of it. Even just being able to take my lessons on the course, something that would normally take 2-3 hours, I can hop out on the simulator onto a hole and pick a certain shot that we need to work on, and I can just set it to sit there and replay that shot. So we definitely get a lot more done indoors, but as you mentioned, there's totally things that you need outdoors and real grass and different lies to be able to do. So, and we actually partnered up with a country club in the area, Royal Fox. So we do some lessons out there, and they've been extremely gracious hosts, and it's nice to be able to give our students, the best of both worlds.
So we talked about the golfer's perspective, the instructor's perspective. I guess if you put your business owner hat on right now, one of the things that I've heard from golf simulator business owners is the fact that there's really not an outline. There's not really a ground rules that here's what you got to do. You do this, this, and this. So everybody, since the industry is pretty early, at least in the Chicagoland area, I would estimate that 75% of the 60 plus simulator businesses that I know of, they're all fairly new, within 3 to 5 years. And so they're all trying to figure it out together. What have you learned? And I guess what are the things that you've come across that you're like, oh, well, that made a lot of sense. That works, that doesn't, or do you think it's different for each business?
That's honestly one of the things I love about this. I've always been a do-it-yourselfer, and I get obsessive over stuff. I live here, so just having the ability to try new things, and like you said, there's no mold. So if I try a certain program or try a certain policy with my members, if it doesn't stick, great. But if you don't know, you don't know until you try. So I think just the fact that simulator businesses are so new, to have that opportunity to kind of get out ahead and offer things that, aren't out there. I still get people, it seems crazy to me at this point, but I get people that come in every day and they're like, man, I've just never had a place to go in the winter. I just always quit playing. And I'm like, at this point, there's so many facilities popping up. It's just a matter of finding one that fits your style. There's different public places that are more based around, coming to have a drink and a good time with friends. There's more training facilities like we are. So yeah, I think the business owner really has a lot of flexibility to take it whatever direction they want. And I'm always just trying to do what's best for our members, and, keeping them happy is my main job. I tell them all the time, this is your house. I'm just here to help.
So yesterday I was talking with a simulator business owner. He's located in the city, and he was talking about the challenges of, I guess you could say, acceptance within the golf industry. And sure. I kind of likened it to what I remember from Topgolf, probably 10 years ago. When Topgolf came around, the National Golf Foundation didn't really even count Topgolf. Like, it was all green grass, and there really wasn't maybe ranges and things. But then, I don't know how many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, they said, you know what, Topgolf and that type of off course, whatever they call it, we should count those as golfers. So then the number of golfers in the United States went for something like 27 million to 45 million overnight, just because they like, oh, these people do play golf.
Sure.
So one of the things that we were talking about yesterday is the fact that the traditional golf establishment, even the brands, they weren't even looking at it like, well, you're a simulator business. It's not a course. But the thing about it was that's how they looked at Topgolf, and then Callaway wound up buying Topgolf. So have you seen that? I guess what's your take on the kind of place where simulator businesses are right now versus what you see them potentially in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, that is a great question. It's something I think about a lot, just where we're headed in the future and, where the business as a whole is headed. I think it's in the best place it's ever been. Obviously, being 25, I'm sure there's plenty of people that have been around a whole lot longer than me. But, even since, if we look at the past 5 years, how far along it's came, it's, I think it's exciting that it is still so new. And I think a lot of that pushback in the past is more out of fear. But, now that everybody's seen, hey, these indoor facilities, these Topgolfs of the world are bringing more golfers to the game. People that have never touched a club before all of a sudden want to start taking lessons from their PGA pro and, getting more into it. And it benefits all of us just to have golf as a talking point. So yeah, I hope it keeps growing for sure.
So in my mind, I guess I've kind of come up with this barometer of where simulators could hopefully take us, especially in the Midwest, Chicagoland area. If you think about the golfers that we've had historically, it's kind of a limited list. I guess Kevin Struman would stand out as being the guy who came here from Wheaton, but he had to actually move, and lives in, I think, Arizona at the time, but he still comes back here, trains here, gets instruction here. But if I would say, hopefully, within the next 10, 20, 30 years, with having simulator technology, as you said, it doesn't have to end, right? That's what always, for somebody who's got a high maintenance golf swing, it always set me back months when I would pick up the clubs back again in the next year. And so that doesn't have to happen. Do you think that there is going to be a point in time where we're going to be able to produce golfers at the same rate as, say, the warm weather climates?
I think so. I think weather's already starting to become a non-factor. These simulations are getting so realistic with, you look at the golf zones out there that have the moving platform when you're hitting, or the various types of grasses that you can have in there. And, from an instruction standpoint, I definitely think there's a lot more that you can get done. But even looking outward, you got VR coming down the pipeline. You have virtual lessons. We're actually getting ready to come out with an online academy for our members where, hey, I'm giving you a lesson. I have a drill library. Here's your practice plan for the week. There's so many more ways that the golfer can improve rather than just going out to play 18 holes once a week. So I think technology is, definitely playing a huge role in that. But yeah, golf is in a better place than ever, I feel.
So let's finish up with 2 questions. This is just your personal thoughts, personal opinions. What are, or who are some instructors, could be local, could be national, who you kind of have made an impact on you and you admire?
Sure. Great question. Like I said, I've spent a lot of time, traveling around and just picking the brains of various coaches. Admittedly, since I moved to Chicago, I'm working 70, 80-hour weeks and haven't been able to get out as much, but met some great local pros. Rich Flores is a pro out here in the suburbs who's been an incredible mentor to me, really in business and in life, just in general. But, having him on my side has been great. James Hong in New York, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's an incredible coach and works primarily with, higher level juniors. And he was great. I did an internship out in New York and spent some time with him. And he actually came and taught at our facility and helped out our members a bit. So, you know, situations like that are cool because you meet different instructors in the industry and you guys can all help each other's students out. And also just having different talking points. If I have questions on students, Andrew Losey's another coach who he's up in Massachusetts, and me and him really just bounce ideas off each other all the time. We're sending videos of students and talking about swing concepts. And yeah, I don't know if you can be much more of a golf swing nerd than I am. So there's always somebody I'm trying to bug to help me out with swings and whatnot.
That's interesting is I've taken instruction from probably 15 different instructors over the course of my life. And the one thing I really gets me excited is when you're a golf swing nerd, right? The more nerdy, the better as far as I'm concerned. So I appreciate that. So let's finish up with the final question then. And I'll keep this a little bit open because you work so much, you haven't had that much time. But is there a course or courses that you've either played here or want to play here in the Chicagoland area that you could talk about?
Yeah, definitely a bit of bias here, but Royal Fox Country Club in St. Charles is one of my favorite around. Pristine condition and just a really great membership around there. That's always one of my favorite tracks. And I'm more playing courses for the design. I love having courses that are in good shape, of course, but, playing holes that are interesting and, dog legs, different bunkers in your way. I mean, there's got to be the challenge there. And we've all played the flat dog tracks that are just kind of basic. So, yeah, Royal Fox is great. One that I would love to get out to is Butler National. I hear a lot of good things about Butler, and got a few members out there. I've been trying to trick them into sneaking me into a foursome, but that's on my list for next year.